Hey, Merry Christmas! What's up? It's Jim, and today I'm going to talk about Mystery Science Theater 3000, episode 1113, The Christmas That Almost Wasn't. It's sort of a tradition in Mystery Science Theater to have a Christmas episode. Mike had a pretty good and major episode, as did Joel, and so now it is Jonah and the new bots' turn, or the reboot's turn, to do The Christmas That Almost Wasn't. This is a strange, weird movie, which I guess is in the tradition, because those both are very strange, and one that actually has a reputation outside of Mystery Science Theater, which I guess is the same as the other two Christmas movies they've done before. This was played a lot on HBO in the late 70s and early 80s. Yes, HBO has been around that long and had a less discerning taste then, apparently, and was kind of HBO's Christmas time movie. And when I brought this up to people who actually had HBO at the time, they actually sort of remember it, but they watched it as kids. It's kind of a weird movie, the whole idea that Santa Claus has to find a way to pay his landlord or he'll get kicked out of the North Pole, which I didn't know Santa Claus rented, but that, you know. It's a strange, weird movie, and I think MST has a lot of fun with it, actually. I was kind of surprised how much fun they had with it. Particularly, it seems like a lot of people bring up the baby jokes about Wimpy, played by Paul Tripp, who, yeah, that's kind of funny. I actually kind of like how much they went towards that. At first, it was like a little cringy, and it was like, okay, guys, calm it down. But by the end, I was actually really laughing at the baby jokes. They mentioned that in the Revival League podcast, how people were cringing, but I think it's quite funny. I think it's hilarious. This is also, believe it or not, written by Wimpy, the character Wimpy, and the bad guy, Phineas Prune, was actually the director of the film as well. It was actually filmed without sound, so no one recorded sound, but they just mouthed the words, and the only one who redubbed it was Phineas Prune, or Rossano Brazzini. And it was an Italian film. This was made in 1966, so actually it was very common, because this is right around when spaghetti westerns were happening, and Sergio Leone was actually doing that. This is probably the only connection this has to Sergio Leone. I thought as a Christmas episode it worked well, but there's no the heights of let's have a Patrick Swayze Christmas. But they still have a lot of fun with the host segments, particularly the re-gifter. And I sort of liked Kinga and Max's like weird, like we can make any Christmas song into like people screaming and things like that. I was a little surprised, since this is the penultimate episode, or whatever you call the one before the last one or whatever. They're building this continuity a lot in the previous episode, and then they just kind of mention it real quick at the beginning, and then it's like that was it. I don't love the continuity. I like more of the jokes in it anyway, but I was a little surprised that they didn't do more with that. I guess because they assume people will probably watch this separate from the rest of them, and then I'll watch it on Christmas and not be an idiot, watch it way before Christmas, or even sillier and make a review of it way before Christmas. So they also have a joke about not doing Christmas stuff around Labor Day. Oddly timed for me. Oh well. They did continue the multi-layered casting thing of, like, I think it was Gary Oldman as Johnny Depp in Tim Burton's something. I thought that was really funny. There was one joke that I actually paused the episode because I was laughing too hard, was even Milton Berle refused to steal that joke, which I thought was like, holy shit. That really got me. Even the like greetings, and go, which greetings? There's so many to choose from. Anytime there's like shots in a Mystery Science Theater episode in the movie where it goes like cutting to various different people waking up, or different people from different things and stuff, they always, I guess it's sort of a tradition to do various like names for everybody and things like that. And I thought they did a really good job for them. It was like Chamber Pot, Meat Pocket. What was it? It's like some girl and her dolly, actual baby. You know, it's kind of flow-wise, I'd say a weirder episode, because there are oftentimes I was like, I don't know about this one, like a Christmas one and stuff. But then there are other times I'm laughing hysterically and I couldn't stop, and I had to pause things and rewind certain parts. So it's kind of one I would probably recommend maybe actually watch on an actual Christmas. Not that I'm not doing that right now, because hey, if you watch this on Christmas, it's new to you. I wouldn't mind watching this one again. It's unfair, you know, I try to think of these episodes as their own thing and not rate them against what Mike and Joel have done already, but I think when you're coming as specifically, you know, he's done a Hercules movie. Jonah and the bots in this rendition have done all the big hallmarks of Mystery Science Theater, certainly. But I think in this one, to do a Christmas song, maybe is because there's not as many, it's a little, you know, I guess I thought of it in terms of the Hercules movies too. I don't have as much love for it, but also like I've watched the Santa Claus one with Mike countless times. I've seen the one of Joel, Santa Claus Conquers the Martian, countless times. So I think like this is maybe one I would like to see, first off, how it does after, since it's been released, A Christmas Has Yet to have happened. So I would like to see what people think of it, how it becomes a Christmas tradition. I think it should. I think it's like a fun Christmas special. They have a lot of fun with it. They managed to make a lot of inappropriate jokes. They even managed to do my favorite Mystery Science Theater recurring gag, where they're like, aren't we all beyond Thunderdome, which is a joke I absolutely love. Kind of reminds me in the Carnival Magic vein, where it's like very strange, odd, bizarre movie where you're like, what was exactly going on? And like kind of the only thing the 60s and 70s could have produced, because Hollywood was falling apart, and like just they're like, hey, you have money, do you want to make a movie? And there's certain people that you're like, I don't know what you were exactly thinking. It's like if John Waters made a Christmas movie in the 70s, and he actually did try to make a Christmas movie, John Waters, but he didn't succeed, unfortunately. I think that's what he wanted to do for his next film, but it didn't work out, unfortunately. I like a good Christmas episode. I'll watch a Christmas episode of anything, and particularly my partner, we're big Christmas fans, obviously, because I have this ready to go at all times, and this cool Christmas shirt with a regular show on it. I like a good Christmas special, and I think this was a very good entry. I liked at the end they mimicked the kind of photo montage thing, which sort of looked like if you've ever seen in a silent film or a film where they're like, well, we lost this section, but we used photos to recreate what it would have been like. It looked like that, and they did that at the end of the episode, which was a little strange. It reminded me of what happened in Hercules with the thing, and I sort of like that bit that they've had going with that. I thought they had a lot of fun with it, but it was a little weird. It was a little out there, but I thought it sort of worked. I was a little surprised that it kept going. I think the joke just like sort of comes in and ends. Also, one of the writers on this episode was actually Joel McHale, who I know comes back in the next final episode, has a guest appearance, but he actually wrote on this. One of the things I really loved about this was seeing Joel as Santa Claus, which brought a smile to my face, frankly. Oh, cool, he's Santa. Joel is my Santa. He's given me gifts of laughter my whole life. I loved seeing Joel as Santa, and finding out Santa was Jewish, which sort of makes sense the way they presented it. Also, as someone who reviews things, I actually like them reviewing Santa's toys. I thought that was kind of funny as well. This is a good episode. It's a good Christmas special. It automatically, on the first viewing, which I've only seen this once so far, although I did rewatch a bunch of parts, so maybe sort of 1.5. I wouldn't put it up to the previous Christmas Mystery Science Theater episodes, but I still think it's a very worthy entry, and it still had me laughing a lot. It's funny with the reboot, because there's often times when I'm not as in love with an episode as a whole, but I'm still like, yeah, but I laughed at this, but I love that line, but I love this. So I think that's kind of the theme with this reboot, is like, as much as I might have misgivings over certain things and go, well, I know in terms of the canon of this show that maybe that's not as good, I'm still very happy and very satisfied. But I still, like, I will probably watch this around Christmas time and put this on while we're doing some Christmas thing at some point, but probably after those other two Christmas Mystery Science Theater episodes. It's still an episode I'm going to look back at fondly and have fond memories of, and I would put it actually towards the topper tier of it. It's just the flow of the riffs are so weird, where I'd have some periods where I wasn't as into it, and then I have some periods where I was laughing hysterically, which is a weird flow for an episode. I'm like, okay, I'm either so into it and I love it, or I'm just like not. I'm just like not into it, which was strange. And maybe that was just how I perceived it, but that's just kind of what I noticed. Anyway, I think this is a worthy episode of the new season, and I think it's worthy to go up against the other Christmas specials of Mystery Science Theater, even if it frankly isn't as good as them. It's still a hilarious one in a lot of cases, and one that will surprise you in a lot of their jokes and how inappropriate they are, but also will surprise you at how much you will just be laughing out loud, and how loudly I was laughing out loud was frankly a Christmas gift to me. So if you have seen Mystery Science Theater 3000, episode 1113, The Christmas That Almost Wasn't, and you would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments and subscribe if you would like to.